Last week we started our sermon series about the tyranny of feelings. Oftentimes, we experience feelings, we just allow them to consume us, and we become emotional toddlers. We think, this is my whole reality, and I will just surrender to them immediately without asking, in this moment, how can I choose what is good? We see this at work in our gospel today, where the younger son, who feels cramped in his role at home, he wants to leave. But instead of asking, okay, why do I feel this way? And how do I choose what is good? He instead makes the drastic move. Father, give me my share of the inheritance. Father, once you are dead, I'll get half of your stuff. But I want that now. I wish you were dead. Give me what I am owed. The father gives him the land. The son sells it off and goes away. And he continues to be a slave to that emotional tyrant and surrenders himself to every pleasure money can buy, which is great until it's not great. There's a famine, the money runs out, and he finds himself living in the mud with pigs. A shameful way for a Jew to live. He decides, I'm going back home. This return home is still his emotions consuming him because he's not going home out of love for his father. He is filled with shame. He thinks he's messed up too much, that he can never be loved again. He talks to himself to practice his speech to his father, saying, Father, I have sinned against you. Treat me no longer as a son, but treat me like a slave. He's been infected with an evil thought. I can no longer be a son. I cannot be forgiven. I cannot be loved. And these evil thoughts result in emotions going haywire and just so much suffering. Because our emotions, while real, aren't reality. They are real, but they aren't reality. Our emotions are how we perceive reality. So, for example, you're in the lunchroom and your good friend just ignores you. What are your thoughts? Do you think they hate you and wish you were dead? Or is the pizza just really, really good and they're lost in the sauce? Because how you perceive this action of being ignored completely affects how you feel. And if I think my friend hates me, I feel terrible. That really hurts. If I think, hey, he's just vibing to the pizza, well, I feel happy for him. And I too want a slice. It's the same reality, but completely different feelings. Your thoughts interpret what you see and makes you feel good or bad. So to have evil thoughts will beget evil emotions. To have good thoughts beget good emotions. That's why St. Paul, when giving advice, says, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is pure, think on that. Because we focus on the good things in life, we experience gratitude, we feel good. And we see more and more good things and feel even better. We focus upon the bad things in life, we end up only able to see the bad things and we feel worse. Our thoughts can become a cycle that can be virtuous or vicious. That I can feel bad and interpret everything negatively, or feel good and interpret everything positively. I can always find evidence for my thoughts. But when we first control our thoughts, we begin to be able to control our emotions. They did a study where they measured people singing karaoke. It's a thing that scares people, being in front of others and singing. So the way they measured this was they'd have people sing the first line to Don't Stop Believin'. Just a small town girl. They would measure how in tune they were. Okay? So they have three groups with different instructions. A group 1 was told, hey, just wait 30 seconds. Okay, sing. Group 2 was told, hey, for 30 seconds, think about how nervous you are up there on stage, and then sing. And group 3 was told, okay, think about how excited you are, and then sing. So group 1 was the control, and they were in tune 61% of the time. Okay. Group 2, people that had negative thoughts, they were in tune 54% of the time. And group 3, people that had positive thoughts, they were in tune 83% of the time. Because on stage, when you sing in front of people, of course you're going to feel nervous. If you choose to focus upon that as excitement, it'll be better. Because your thoughts lead to your emotions, which leads to your actions. But controlling emotions is not a matter of pretending everything's all right and having copium. It's a matter of doing good things. Because that younger son, he could have stayed in the pigsty and thought, man, I love being here. These pigs are such great friends. They're always so funny. That's very positive, I guess. But there's the reality. This is not where I belong. That I don't belong in a pigsty. I belong in my father's house. And it took an action, returning home to the father, to begin to feel better. I have a need to be loved. I have a need to be safe. I have a need to be home. Okay, well, let's turn towards that home. And that action addresses the deep need and he begins to feel better. So if you think good, you'll feel good and do good. But the reverse is true too, that if you do good, you'll feel good and you'll think good. So with this action of returning back home, he begins to feel bad. But he still has that shame. Because those evil thoughts are still in his heart. The thought, I lost my sonship. I'm now just a slave. And when he gets home, he tries to apologize to his father. But see what the father does. He ignores the lie, ignores that evil thought, and sends for a ring, for a robe, for sandals. He calls for the fattened calf to be killed. Because my son has returned. And these loving actions of the father, they're a way to change those evil thoughts. That you aren't a slave. You are my son. You aren't unlovable. You are deeply, deeply loved. And you need to feel that in your bones. That your heart must be fixed before your life can be fixed. The older son, the one that never left, he's infected with those evil thoughts. He sees his brother as utterly lost. He hurt the family. He sold off our land that was promised to us by God. That was our share in the covenant, the promised land. That his sins are too great to be forgiven. And because of these evil thoughts, he felt so much anger. And the end result is that he is stuck outside. He is just hurting himself. Why? Because of those thoughts that interpret reality. They end up making us feel these painful emotions, and we lash out at our loved ones and ourselves. So are thoughts good thoughts from God, or evil thoughts from the flesh, the world, or the devil? In seminary, we would watch movies every Saturday. It's a fun way to hang out. In every classic movie, they all end the same way. The hero defeats the bad guy. Everyone sees how strong he is. And he kisses the girl. End scene, all how sweet. But this one seminarian, at the end of every movie, he would always stand up and declare, that will never be you. Every Saturday, during this super sweet and fun moment, that will never be you. Until a rector forced him to stop saying that. Because 15 guys left seminary at the end of the semester. 15 guys became discouraged to pursue the priesthood because he would bring up this evil thought: that will never be you. I could never have this good thing in front of me. I can never have this happiness. That will never be me. That's an utterly evil thought. I was telling my friend this story. He said, "But isn't that true? I did not know that I was friends with literal Satan." But the good point, the evil thoughts contain a bit of truth in them. The younger son did mess up. Not everyone's going to like you. Your studies will be tough. I'll never do a backflip behind the supervillain, say a funny line, snap his neck, and smooch a lady. I won't do that. That's true. But the deeper question is that where happiness ultimately lies? In this perfect fantasy. Because honestly, most people won't do a backflip, snap the bad guy's neck, and smooch a lady all in one day. But does that mean we're all condemned to be unhappy because we aren't in this fantasy? Every evil thought has a deeper thought. I need this to be happy. But when we bring these thoughts to the light, we're able to say, no, that's not true. I don't need this fantasy to be happy, because the reality is, I am always the beloved son. That God always delights in me. He's proved his love for me again and again. It's not that that will never be you. The reality, that will always be you. You will always be God's beloved child, who is always welcome to come home. This week I have 2 tips about how to deal with your negative thoughts. Tip 1, if you find yourself in a bad mood, you should ask, what was I just thinking? Was it an evil thought? Bring it to the light and ask, okay, is this true? And is that deeper thought true? Perhaps you saw the study guide for finals. You thought, this is too much. I can never pass. My life is over. Is that true? Or you got hurt. You can't play your sport any longer. And your thought, being an athlete, that's my identity. That I am nothing without the ability to play. My life is over. And ask, is that true? Oftentimes, no, it's not true. By noticing the evil thoughts, you're able to choose the good thoughts. So here are 5 evil thoughts that most plague college students. 1, I am unworthy of love. 2, if people really knew me, they would reject me. 3, I cannot count on anyone, even God, to meet my needs. 4, I must control everything to be happy. 5, my vices meet my needs, and they are my source of comfort. Those are lies. And the true thoughts: 1, I am lovable. 2, if people really knew me, they would love me more. 3, I can count on others, including God, to meet my needs. 4, I do not need to control everything to be happy. 5, God and healthy relationships meet my needs, and they are my source of comfort. So there's like 11 homilies in there. So this week, bring to light these evil thoughts. Say, no, these aren't true. Place them in the light of God's love and mercy. And say, Lord, this will always be me. And tip 2, so when we think good, we feel good. And when we act good, we feel good. So this week, choose to act from the true beliefs, even when you don't feel them. The younger son did not feel like a son, but that did not change reality. You are always his beloved son. And coming home, his father gave him evidence upon evidence that he was loved. The ring, the sandals, the robe, the fresh steaks, evidence that I am loved. Thus, I must act like a beloved son. So, in your life, what evidence is there that you are loved by God? The obvious answer: the cross, Eucharist, God's mercy and confession. But the more individual stuff: what are you thankful for? How has God blessed you? Can you see how you are loved by God? And you act from this reality that you are loved no matter what. So, this week, as you choose to expose those false beliefs, choose to act from the true beliefs. That emotional tyrant has many chains that ensnare us, many lies that we believe. We sin and think, I've screwed up. That will never be me. I will never be loved. I will never be happy. I will never be forgiven. But the reality, you will always be loved. You are loved by God. Even in your worst suffering, you are loved by God. Even in your darkest sin, you are loved by God. May we learn to live more fully from true reality and less from the turmoil brought about by that emotional tyrant. Seeing that when it comes to being a beloved child of God, that will always be you, no matter how you feel. God bless.